Okay, I've got everything stitched down very lightly. I used that invisible stitch just to tack all the pieces down. You know, that's such an easy stitch to take out. You can just cut some of the long floats on the back and almost pull them off if you change your mind. And the double running stitch, you know, I've left those ends hanging on the back. If you're not going to wash the piece, it doesn't matter too much, but I like to leave them loose, maybe even just tie them into a loose knot for now, just to allow the stitches to contract through handling or through washing, because they tend to gather up because they're so close. So I tacked everything pretty much in place where I had it before. You know, this is a cotton velveteen, not a velvet, so it's pretty thin and flat. You know, silk velvet or a higher pile velvet has a different effect when you stitch. Maybe I'll try doing this stitch on something a little thicker. So it feels good and it looks okay like this. And I'm considering doing some other things to the ground. I'll think about that. You know, a lot of times when I want to consider doing, you know, making some design changes to a piece, since we have the capacity to do these kind of things, it's great to take photographs, hang it on a wall, take a photograph or whatever. That's what I did. I kind of looked at it for a while. And then, you know, if you're not sure of yourself, you can print out a photo and then, you know, play around with the layout with your pen or whatever. I'm considering, you know, I looked at this and I said before that that this could maybe be the center, a sun-like thing. So now I'm thinking, well, what if it is a sun and maybe it's the center of some sort of galaxy or something. So I'm going to put a circle in here, but I did do a little test here with my pen and on the top of a glass. So that's an option. I mean, if you're not really sure of yourself, I tend to work on things directly. So I found an old plate that I'm going to use, and I'm actually going to draw a circle on here, but I'm going to go around the pieces. I think that might be nice. This is like a field overlay that I use once in a while to kind of pull all these separate pieces into a layout, even though I'm going to use each heart as kind of an experiment. Sometimes having an overlay, it's like overlaying a theme or an idea. It pulls all the little separate parts together. So even though you're making a sampler, you can kind of pull that into a story now. So I'm gonna use this as some kind of a sun theme. And I thought I would do that before I add any pieces to the background so that I can use this shape as something that sort of pulls it together. And now that I have this idea, I'm thinking, well, what if I had used an indigo velvet maybe and made it into a moon instead of a sun? So that's just another idea that's gelling.